and hide our children in a bunker so they can't see those other options. So I've heard this with religious people, religious parents who don't want to send their kids to college. They want to keep their kids in a bunker because college will show them all of these other beliefs and ways of living in the world that will contaminate them and that might cause them to lose their religion. So they want to keep them in the bunker and not let them go to college. Now, the final way of responding bludgeons is actively hostile. It's attacking difference. Now, that could be an intellectual attack, which would mean somebody feeling the need to tell a person, you believe the wrong way. Your religion is wrong. They might say, this is one thing you hear, you're going to hell. Right? We hear that. They might say, you need to convert to my religion. Right? You even hear it from non-religious people sometimes. They might say, like, religion is evil. Religion's bad. You need to stop being religious. And then the bludgeons are actually physical sometimes, right? So we know that the history that I shared with you of white Christianity in America, the chains of slavery were justified by Christianity. The ropes of lynching were justified by Christianity. In China right now, the non-religious government, the secular atheist government, justifies putting their Uyghur Muslim minority group in concentration camps. Any religion and any non-religious perspective can use bludgeons against people who believe differently. And there are examples all over the world of this happening. So, with the challenges of barriers, bunkers, and bludgeons, we have another option. And the other option is bridges. And bridges is something positive to do with diversity. Diversity is a fact. What we do with it is another matter. So bridges provide a space where people, first of all, can meet. You know, you don't even have to go over to the other side of the bridge. There might be someone on the other side that has a different belief, and you all can meet in the middle on that bridge, in that neutral space. Oftentimes, this is our classrooms on public university campuses, in public school campuses. I was a public school teacher, and it's one of the first places that I saw religious diversity of students together and building bridges between their religions. Particularly, I saw Christian students and Muslim students building bridges in that neutral space. Now, as we grow with comfort and knowledge of each other, we might actually visit each other's side, so to speak, which might mean going to their house and meeting their family, having a family celebration with them. Your Jewish friend might invite you to their family's Hanukkah candle lighting. They might invite you to their Passover meal, which is called a Seder. Or they might invite you to their congregation. Your Muslim friend may invite you to Friday prayers at the mosque. Your Sikh friend may invite you to the Gurudwara on Sunday morning for the community meal that they share. And the good news, if we're afraid about losing our own religion, is that we can always come back across the bridge to our own side, to our own church or synagogue, to our non-religious side. Just because we go visit with our friend of another religion, just because we visit their family or their church, their place of worship, doesn't mean we can't go back to where we are. And it doesn't mean we can't still be who we are in their place. You can still be authentic to your beliefs, your non-religious or religious identity as you go and visit. So, bridges are the positive thing that we can do with religious and worldview diversity. So, to go deeper into what that might look like, my area of work is interfaith engagement as a response to religious diversity. So what is interfaith engagement? Let's define the word first. And the first bullet point, inter, refers to the relationships between people who orient around religion differently. So that's the relationships between me and you and all of our friends, colleagues, students who have different religious or non-religious views. And then faith, which is the relationship between an individual and what we commonly understand as a religious or philosophical tradition. So one way I like to say this to be inclusive is that faith means trust. To have faith in something is to trust something. And even if you don't have a religious faith, you may have a system of ethics. You may have stories that have shaped your life. And these things are things that you trust your life with. You may trust your life with humanity. So even if we don't have a religious faith, we all have a faith in something that guides our life. So one of the words that we use, and this is the fourth bullet point, to describe this interfaith engagement is the word pluralism. And Diana Eck is a Harvard scholar who's written a lot about religious diversity and pluralism, and she defines it as the active engagement of diversity to a positive end. Again, pluralism is the active engagement of diversity to a positive end. So that assumes that diversity is a fact, but we have to choose what we're going to do with it. So interfaith work, and this is the last bullet point on this page, is the work of religious pluralism, which is doing something positive with our religious diversity. Or, as we said on that last slide, building those bridges. So I want to close with a couple of suggestions, and these are particularly for classrooms. So for those of you who are going to end up in classrooms, but I think that you can translate these to any workplace, not just with students, but with any coworker. So how can we honor religious difference? So my first suggestion is that though students may not be expected to participate in any observance, in other words, you can't make them participate, it's possible to honor students by allowing them to appropriately present about important observances as it fits into the curriculum. So examples of holidays students may want to present about. Your Muslim students may want to present about Ramadan. Your Jewish students may want to present about Passover. It's okay, we know that Christmas is sometimes forced on people, maybe a lot of times forced on people. It is possible for a student to appropriately present about Christmas in the classroom. So it's possible for, let's say, the dominant religious group to appropriately share in a secular or public school setting, as long as it fits into the curriculum and it's the same way that any other student would be able to present. That's different than expecting that every student will be okay with there being a Christmas tree in your classroom. Now, the second bullet point, teachers, schools, and syllabi should provide accommodation for religious observances which impact student attendance. So again, we know that Christian privilege means that those of us who are Christian, we automatically get Christmas off, pretty much. Like that's in most school systems, in most professions, Christmas is a day off for everybody. You don't even have to take a personal day to get Christmas off. Well, that's not the case for our Jewish neighbors who are celebrating a week of Passover. It's not the case for our neighbors, our Muslim neighbors, who have Friday prayers on Friday afternoons during the day, every week. So it's important that you're aware and provide the opportunity for accommodation for our students. And if you're in any other workplace, that any person in that workplace has reasonable accommodation for their religious holidays.